welcome to yet another edition of Education First. We have a special show for you today. I've teamed up with a few of my fellow classmates to visit landmarks around the U.S. that have been replicated within Second Life. So without further ado, let's get to it. First up, let's visit Paula Hickman and Greg Elis on their tour of Magicland, which is an exact replica of Disneyland within Second Life.
I'm here in Second Life at Walt Disney World. I love this place. This is one of the most fascinating landmarks, and here's Cinderella's castle. Here's the top of her castle. At night they have a fireworks display above the castle and Tinkerbell flies. Here inside her castle there's all these murals, mosaic murals of the story of Cinderella. I'm inside her castle, and here's a mural of Prince Charming on his horse. And here's another mural of the ball where the stepsisters try to sabotage Cinderella. And then this is where the fairy godmother changes Cinderella into a beautiful dress for the ball. And then there's Cinderella doing her chores as always. And there she is, putting on this slipper to show that she is the true princess.
Hello, my name is Greg Eilers, and I'm also known as Greg McIntyre in Second Life. I'm going to take you on a quick virtual tour of Magicland, which is my landmark, of Disneyland, an exact replica. And as I stroll down Main Street here, I've got a couple options of where to go. To my right, I can head on over to Tomorrowland, which has my favorite childhood ride, Star Tours. Or I can go to my left, which I can venture off into Frontierland and ride Thunder Mountain. But I know if I were with my two daughters, they'd grab my hands and take me to Fantasyland, where we would have to ride the carousel first. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on a horse just for them, take a quick ride. As I jump off my horse, you can see to my left there are the teacups, and if I'm feeling strong, I can pull the sword out of the stone. As I head out back onto Main Street, I have a couple options. I can go into some souvenir shops and shop, buy some things with my Linden dollars, but as it stands right now, I think I'm just going to go ahead and take a stroll in my horse-drawn streetcar. As you can see, there are many great places I didn't take you, but this is a great place to go in Second Life.
Great, thank you Pam and Greg. Next up, let's head north to visit Brian Antos in New York to give us a tour of the Statue of Liberty within Second Life.
My name is Brian Antos, aka Toombs Koba, and I'm here to give you a flying tour of the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty was a gift from the French for the relationships that they built during the American Revolution. The sculptor was Frederick Bartholdi, and the structural engineer was none other than Gustave Eiffel, creator of the Eiffel Tower. The statue stands on Liberty Island in New York City and was one of the first things seen during the heavy immigration earlier this century. I guess last century, technically now. The statue was completed in 1886. It was completed and shown in France before that, but then shipped over to the United States as a gift. The statue stands over 151 feet tall and weighs 450,000 pounds. The Statue of Liberty is made out of copper and was originally of copper color, but oxidization has since turned it green. Thank you for coming on this flying tour with me. Enjoy the next tour with your next tour guide.
Alright Brian, thank you. Next up, let's head west to Denver, Colorado to visit Brooke McCabe to discuss the Trail of Tears landmark within Second Life.
In 1838 and 1839, as part of the Andrew Jackson Indian removal policy, the Cherokee Nation was forced to give up its lands east of the Mississippi River. The U.S. Army began reinforcing the Removal Act in the summer of 1838 by rounding up Cherokees and holding them in temporary stockades. It is unsure the exact number of natives that were forced to move and migrate in treacherous conditions to Indian territories in present-day Oklahoma, but the number ranges between 14,000 and 17,000. It has been estimated that 4,000 Cherokee people lost their lives due to exposure, starvation, and disease. The Cherokees called this journey the place where they cried. It is currently referred to as the Trail of Tears.
Now that was deep. Thank you, Brooke. And last but not least, I've even gotten into the action. As we return back from Arizona, let's stop off at the world-renowned Grand Canyon in Arizona.
We start out walking across the sky made of all glass. Obviously there's no structure included, but they've done a good job of replicating what this bridge would actually give you the feeling of if you got to the apex. Once I got to the apex, I wanted to actually take a minute there and look down at the bottom to see what I could find. I found campgrounds. Next, I wanted to take a minute to just fly over to a little private, secluded sitting area that I thought was really cool. From those campgrounds, I wanted to go ahead and venture on over by air, flying by the birds and everyone else. Great sunset, and as I go to pass the cottage, I fly over this nice little park area. It was kind of weird to see green grass floating underneath me. And lastly, I wanted to just take a quick screenshot of the actual cottage area where people would come to pick up souvenirs, posters, and postcards.
As we come back to our original destination, special thanks to my classmates Pam, Greg, Brian, and Brooke for their contributions on today's show. This is your host, Orlando McGlynn. See you next week.